In the part 2 of DBMS, we will be discussing now relational integrity constraint. We are starting our discussion with relational integrity constraint. What is relational integrity constraints? There are different constraints or conditions that must hold for all valid relational states. That means relational states means what? The Cartesian products of the domain values. So there are some constraints that should be held true. Okay, that should be held true, then only the things or the relational state can be valid. Okay, this much we have understood. There should be some constraints. So the main three constraints are the key constraints, entity constraint, and referential integrity constraint. So these three constraints has to be held true for any relational model. So there is key constraint, entity integrity constraint, and referential integrity constraint. Okay, so let's understand key constraint. What is a super key? It is the combination of one or more attributes which can uniquely uniquely identifies a tuple or a row in a relation. Consider the following relation, student. And in here, if you consider the super key of this student relation can be what? Super key, actually guys, you have to understand the super key can be the combination of one or more attributes that can be used to uniquely identify this relationship. So super can be together roll number and name can uniquely identify. Yes, roll number, name, section, roll number, name, address, roll number, name, section, address, right, roll number, address, all this can be used here. But these are the different super keyword which is possible. Now what is candidate key? Candidate key is these can be more. Okay, something which is going to uniquely the class is always same for everyone, and age is also same, so we cannot use class and age. So you can use roll number, name, section, you can use roll number, name, address you can use, or roll number, section, roll number, address you can use. Understood? These are the things that you can basically use. But class and age we cannot use because they are same for everyone. So we can't use that. Understood? Now if you see candidate key, it is a minimal of super key. It is a super key which cannot be reduced further. A super key which cannot be here, if you consider roll number, we cannot take roll number as 1 because some students roll number is same 1 1. So together roll number and name should be taken. That can be the minimal of the super key which cannot be reduced further. So a candidate key is the subset of a super key set. A candidate key can be super key, but a super key cannot be candidate key. So candidate key is the most smallest minimal of the super key which cannot be reduced further, which is not reducible further, is used as a candidate key. So candidate key is a subset of the super keys set. Now a candidate can be sometimes equal to a super key, but a super key cannot be equal to a candidate key. So that is one important thing here. So here what are the candidate key possible? Roll number, comma, name, roll number, comma, address. What happen if I take roll number and section here? See, one roll number A. Now 1 and 1, there are two roll numbers which is repeating, that is A and B. It's fine. Now 2 and 2, section is A and B. Section is A and B, but sometimes, and if you see here, oh shit, we can take roll number and section also. That can also be considered as a roll number and section, or roll number and address, like roll number and address. Roll number section can also be considered here. Roll number name can be considered here, like the two pairs. Other candidate key, that is the minimal which cannot be reduced further. Understood? That is candidate key. Now primary key, database designers while designing the database which choose any of the candidate key to uniquely identifies a record in a relationship which will be considered as a primary key. So that any one, it will take any one of the candidate, there will be some candidates key. So what database designers do, they will take any one of the candidate key. Either they will take this or either they will take this. Any one set will be considered as a primary key of that database. While designing, they will choose the for that record. For identify a record in a relation, they will choose any one. Now we have, let's say, candidate keys, we have two sets. So from there, the database designers, they will choose that key which can uniquely identifies that particular record. Okay, that is called as the key constraint. There will be always a primary key in a key constraint. Says that there will be always a primary key in a record. If there is no primary key, then the key constraint is invalid. Now entity constraint says that primary key's value cannot be null. This is because the primary key value is used to identify the individual tuples in a relationship. So since it is used to identify the individual tuples in a relationship, uniquely identifying that, having null values for primary key implies that we cannot identify some tuples. Like primary key is used to uniquely identifies a tuple in a relationship, individual tuples in a relation. So if there is no primary key, what does that means? That means you cannot identify the tuple. So that means the value of the null value, if you are giving to primary key, it implies that we cannot identify some tuples, and that is wrong. So the primary key's value should not be null. That is what entity integrity constraint means. Now referential integrity constraint means, you know, foreign key is the. So if a constraint involving two relation is coming and there is a relationship among that, then only foreign key will be the right. These are the two relationship. Let's say one relation is called as a reference and the other relation is referencing, and one other relation is the referenced relationship. So what happens is that in this employee table, I am referencing the department number also in the department table. So these are the referenced. So what happened is that the referential integrity constraint is saying referencing relation is also there, referenced relation is also there. So in here we need the foreign key, that is department number is considered to be the foreign key, right, of this department. This is the department table, this is the employee table, and here department number is the foreign key. This much we have understood. So what does it means that if in that case it occurs, if the primary key, when I am referencing something, the primary key of what I am referencing, that column should be there in the employee table. That is important. Tuples in the referencing relation R1 have attributes foreign key that reference the primary key attributes of the referenced relationship. This is my referencing relation and this is my referenced relation. So this reference relation primary key is D number. That D number should be there in the employee table. Then only reference and referencing relationship will be correct. So in the referencing relationship, the referenced relationship's primary key should be represented as foreign key here and it should be referenced here. Otherwise, it will be invalid. It will be not correct. The referential integrity constraint will not be satisfied then. So this database error will occur. So foreign key is an attribute in a relation which refers to the primary key of another relationship. So foreign key is nothing, just an attribute in one relation which is actually the primary key of another relationship. That is the another important thing that you're going to do. So while you this is my employee schema, my department schema. So this department number is referenced from here. So I will be representing like this. How the foreign key is like this, how we will represent in our relational schema. Understood? Another example, in the student course ID is the primary key here. So if I want to reference this table course, then the primary key should be represented as foreign key here in the student table. Then only this can be say that okay, it's validating the referential integrity constraints. That is how you can confirm that it is validating the referential integrity constraint. So these are the things that you have to understand here. Fine. So thank you guys. This is the lecture 2. Thank you.